This conference will now be recorded.
In the yesterday we have started with the clustering part, and in the clustering part we have done, yes, also we have yes, we have started with the unsupervised learning, and in the unsupervised learning we have started with clustering, and in the part of clustering we have completed one algorithm called k-means clustering. Okay, you will be having different clustering algorithms. See, uh, all that can be referred in your sklearn. What are the methods that are available in your clustering that you can observe in this official documentation of sklearn. Okay, when you see, we have completed with the k-means. Okay, and we try to do now agglomerative clustering and word hierarchical clustering, agglomerative clustering. Okay, all that comes under hierarchical clusterings. Now today we are going to see there are different types of clusterings here, but the mostly used clusterings are hierarchical clustering, and we also use k-means and we also use dbscan, and for the as per the syllabus we have k-means and hierarchical clustering. Okay, let us start what is hierarchical clustering today. Okay, what is the disadvantage in the k-means? What is the steps we are trying to find out in the k-means? Nothing but we are trying to follow in the k-means. Please tell me. How do we choose the value of k? How do we choose the value of k in k-means? How do we choose the number of clusters? Yes, in k-means. By using which method? Yes, by using some inertia, nothing but by using elbow method, we try to find out the number of clusters, and we should find out the centroids, find out the distance in the mean, right? And see, I have already told you we choose some centroids, right? In our classification, while trying to classify, we choose the centroids first. I told that we need to select the centroids from the data set, or we can choose the random centroids. Oh, sorry, we can choose the random centroids from the data set given, or we can choose our own point, data point as a centroid, right? If you are trying to use, see, if you are trying to use the centroid point, centroid data from the data set, that can be called as k-means. Okay, there is other term called k-medoids. K-medoids, nothing but see in the k-means, sorry, in the k-means we try to select the centroid, first centroid, by calculating the mean, of the data points. K-medoids is also one algorithm. See, it is just the same as your k-means only, but in the k-medoids, what it tries to do is it selects one nothing but data points from the given data set. Okay, the process that you have learned yesterday will be applied to these k-means or k-medoids. Okay, but what is the difference is, if we try to select the centroid by calculating the mean values, mean of all values, we generally call it as k-means. Okay, if you select the data points from the given data set randomly, we can say that as k-medoids. But in some references you will be calling both as k-means only. In some references they try to differentiate this way. Okay, now what are the disadvantages here in the k-means? These k-means are, see, they will be an effect if there are outliers. Okay, affected by outliers, and we should only choose the value of nothing but we should only choose the number of clusters, right? Choosing the number of clusters. And in some cases, in any clustering algorithm, this might be the disadvantage. In some, for some data sets, it fails to nothing but understand, okay, or recognize some patterns or structures. This might be a disadvantages in all clusters, but for some data sets it works better. It tries to recognize all the patterns, and for some data sets it won't recognize. These are the disadvantages in the k-means or k-medoids we generally observe. Then coming to the hierarchical clustering, see, coming to the hierarchical clustering, let us, what is hierarchical clustering? What is hierarchy? Please tell me the general meaning of hierarchy. What is the general meaning of hierarchy? See, if you observe the hierarchy of a college, generally the students, if you try to observe, the student will be reporting to the class teacher, and all the class teachers will be reporting to your head of the departments, and all the head of the departments will be reporting to the principal. Okay, and all the principal will again report to the other head, right? That is one hierarchy. In the same way, we try to do the clustering using some hierarchical techniques here. See, what are those hierarchical techniques here is, generally there are two types here. One is, I have already nothing but what are the methods we have. Generally we have two methods in this hierarchical clustering, and one is agglomerative. Okay, agglomerative method, and the other one is divisive method. Agglomerative method and divisive method. What does agglomerative method is? Nothing but we try to say it is some bottom up approach, and we try to say it is top down. Don't think that what is bottom up or top down. I will explain. Bottom up approach and top down approach. Am I written spellings correct? Okay. Next, let me tell you What is the concept behind this? See, if there is any data in this way, think that you have some data. Okay, assume that you have this kind of data. What we generally try to do in these two approaches is, first, what is first one? Agglomerative method. Okay, and writing as AGG, and the other one is divisive method. See, think that you are having some data points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need not select any number of clusters here, nothing but we need not choose the number of clusters of at first. What it tries to do is, if we are trying to calculate this agglomerative method, first it tries to do nothing but tries to assume that each and every point belong to one cluster. Okay, what it tries to do, it tries to assume, see, I think there are some, how many data points we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 generally. So for our example we have 7, right? What it tries to do is based on some distance measures. Okay, nothing but how do we find distance? Either using Euclidean distance formula, either using Manhattan distance formula. There are different several formulas, several distance measures. Okay, but we know Euclidean distance better, right? Assume that you are using only Euclidean distance or Manhattan distance. Based on the distance measures, what it tries to do is, it tries to classify. First, what it tries to do, it tries to classify every single data point as a cluster. Initially, I have 7 clusters. See, initially, I have 7 clusters. And now see, it try based on the distance measures, what it tries to do is, it tries to calculate, divide these two into one cluster. Okay, these two into the other cluster. Okay, and what it tries to do, these two into other cluster, and this single point to other cluster. Okay, after considering every point to one cluster, what it again tries to do, based on the distance measures, it tries to classify these two into one cluster, these two into one cluster. It is classifying based on some distance measures. Okay, and see, think that 1 and 3 got clustered into one group, 2 and 4 got clustered into one group, 5 and 7 got clustered into one group, and only 6 got clustered into one different group. Okay, or wait, you may write in this way also. 1 and 3 has clustered into one group, 2 and 4 has clustered into one group, and 5 and 7 has clustered into one group. Only 6 left with one cluster. Or see, it is based on your distance, or you can say 1 and 2 as one cluster, 3 and 4 as other cluster, 6 and 7 as one cluster, and 50 is one different cluster. Okay, now in the next iteration, what it tries to do, again it tries to calculate nothing but distances. It tries to apply some distance measures to it. What it tries to do, see here, again it tries to choose this point into the first cluster and this point to second cluster and the single point to one cluster. Okay, in the first level we have 7 clusters. In the second level we have 4 clusters. What in the third level, by finding out again the distance measures in the background, what it tries to do, this point is somewhat nearer to these 2 points, nothing but this cluster, the point in this cluster is somewhat to close this one. Okay, what in the next level what it tries to do, it tries to classify this point to this cluster. Okay, nothing but think that, see, 1 point in 3 has been divided into here. Okay, or otherwise you may see I am making this, it is not apt to make like this. Okay, wait, what I try to do, these 2 into 1, these 2 into 1, right? Now I am trying to make 3 clusters, one is this and one is this and this is okay. How do I draw this to make you understand? Okay, let me think, let us assume these two has grouped to one cluster and these two, okay, wait. So actually we have these clusters, right? As this is very nearer to this, I am trying to choose this one cluster into this, okay, to this 6, to this part. Now how many clusters I have? This is the first and the second and okay, this is third. Okay, we have 3 clusters, nothing but I am trying to, this is one cluster and in the second level these got merged into this cluster. Have you understood? Actually it tries to do with some distance measures. For your for you to understand, I am just using this example. Okay, and in the next level what it tries to do, it tries to make this both, okay, both to one cluster itself. In the next level what it tries to do, it tries to make this 1 and 2, okay, to one cluster and this remains same and this is the now the second cluster. What it tries to do, it tries to merge this one. Okay, after that what it tries to do, after other level it tries to make all the points to one cluster. Okay, what it is trying to do from the bottom, initially it is considering all the features, nothing but all the data as the different clusters, and by using some distance measures it is trying to merge two clusters. Assume that it has been done like this, and in the next level it is trying to merge the other points which are very nearer to this, and up to which extent it is trying to do this, up to the all points clustered into one group, it is trying to do this process. Okay, from the bottom it is trying to, from the bottom it is trying to classify, nothing but it is trying to cluster your data until you get all the points into one cluster by using some distance measures. And this approach from bottom to up can be called as bottom up approach. Bottom up approach. What does it follows in the divisive method? I have already told you in the divisive method we try to do the top down approach. In the top down approach what it tries to do, first what it tries to do, the opposite of this. First it tries to consider the whole data as one cluster, and based on the distance measures it tries to divide that into some two clusters again, and again some distance measures it tries to calculate the distances and try to again split your data, and from this top to See, it tries to begin with the assumption that all data belongs to one cluster only and try to divide the clusters again. This will be done in a divisive approach, nothing but divisive method. It follows from top to bottom and from bottom to up in the agglomerative method. Generally, nothing but in the real time, we try to use the bottom up approach only than the top down approach. Okay. Why? Because by experimenting, we will be knowing, no, right? By experimenting with some data sets, which type of method is suitable, we will be knowing, right? From the experience, from the researchers, they have been referred that this bottom up approach works better than the top down approach. Okay, as it is considering as every data point as a single cluster, and this works fine with the data sets than this. Okay, have you understood what is the difference between these two approaches, how your data is getting clustered? Please respond me in the chat box. What is the use of agglomerative method if it is taking whole points one it last? See, at every possible point it is trying to classify. No, we won't take all these. We won't take all these levels to be in our training. Okay, generally, if you want up to the level 2 only, see, we have, this is one level, this is second level, this is third level. Okay, we are trying to calculate all the distances, nothing but all the possible division here, clustering. But we won't take all these. Okay, we will try to take some level from this approach. Nothing but we will try to choose the number of clusters from these levels. Actually, that is the use here. What we are trying to do in the k-means, we are trying to choose our own value, right? Our own value, or by using some elbow method. But in some cases, our elbow method will also not working fine. And comparatively, by this approach, okay, you can solve nothing but you can overcome the disadvantages from k-means by using these approaches. Actually, that is the use of these approaches. And when comparatively, nothing but when compared to these approaches, this works fine. And this kind of diagram can be called as a dendrogram. Okay, see, actually I have drawn some diagram here, right, using some levels like a tree. This can be called, the terminology for this in your ML is dendrogram. And from this dendrogram, what we try to do, we try to select our value of k. Okay, we try to select our value of k. And see, let us once tell you in the agglomerative method, when coming to, there are different measures that it is following. Let us see what are the methods. Okay, it tries to use some linkage methods. It tries to use some linkage methods. What are linkage methods is? What are linkage methods is? Single linkage, and there is also other linkage called complete linkage. I have already told you, know, based on some distance measures, it tries to do that hierarchy, right? How do that happens is by using some linkage methods. single linkage, complete linkage, and average linkage. And there are also other methods called variance methods. It tries to find out the variance. Okay, see, in the first cluster there is only nothing but in the first level, each and every data point is divided into one cluster, right? If you try to find out the variance, you will be having some zero variance, not low, it is having zero variance. And if you try to apply nothing but combine two data points to one cluster, you will be having some variance. Okay, by this variance method also it tries to find out. And already you know what is the centroid method. By centroids methods also it tries to find out. It tries to do all that process. And in the divisive approach, it tries to, see, by in the divisive approach it may use to split this data, it may use some k-means also. It may use other algorithms of clustering to split it. See, if I want to split this data into two clusters, see, since it is taking whole data as one cluster first, what it tries to do, if I take k equal to 2, if I want divide this into two clusters, it may use k-means also to do that part. Okay, this approach. And coming to, let us know what is single linkage, what is complete linkage, what is average linkage. As I have already told, this method is effective than that divisive method. Let us know what is single, what is complete, what is average. Okay, think that you are having the data points. Okay, let me draw some points here to make you understand. Okay, think that these three has divided into one cluster. Okay, assume that these three are one cluster and these four are one cluster. What it tries to do is it tries in the single linkage. In the single linkage, as the name is single here, it tries to calculate the distance between your clusters, but based on which points it tries to calculate the distance is, it chooses the closest members of your clusters. See, this for this it is, this is very closest, right? These 2 points are closer. Let me use some colors. These 2 points are closer. It uses closest points to calculate the distance, that can be called as the single linkage. Okay, and in the complete linkage, what it tries to do is it tries to calculate the distance selecting the farther points. What are the farther points from this cluster? This is some farther point out of this cluster, and this is the farther point. Okay, what it tries to do is it tries to find out the distance between the farther points. And in the average linkage, what it tries to do, in the average linkage it tries to see if these are your data points in one cluster. Okay, it tries to find out the distance from this to this point to this point, this point to this point, nothing but from that data point to all that cluster points. Similarly, from this cluster to all other data points, tries to find out the distance and do the average. Okay, and try to do the average of these distances. This is how we try to, nothing but what are the distance measures that it is following. This agglomerative method is trying to follow these methods if it is trying to follow the linkage methods. How many linkages we have? It is single linkage, complete linkage, and average linkage. In a single linkage, it tries to calculate the distance between the closest members of the clusters. And in the average, sorry, in the complete linkage, what it tries to do? It tries to calculate the distance from farther points, selecting the farthest points from the clusters. And in the average linkage, it tries to calculate the average between all the data points between the two clusters and try to calculate the mean. Based on that distance measures, it tries to cluster your data starting from the bottom. Okay. Now let us, how does the single linkage works? Please tell me. Tries to calculate between the closest, calculate the distance between the closest members of the two clusters. Nothing but calculates the distance between the closest members of the two clusters. And in the complete linkage, what it tries to do? Please tell me, please respond me in the chat box. In the complete linkage, what does it tries to do? It's distance between the far clusters. Nothing but the farthest points. What is the average linkage? Distance. It tries to find out the distance between all pairs and it tries to and calculates the average of all these distances. Okay, generally in the variance method, you will be having method called Ward method. By default in the sklearn, it uses only Ward method, nothing but finding out the variances between each clusters. Okay, it tries to find out the variance of each cluster, right? But it tries to take the cluster which has the minimum variance. Okay, in the variance methods. And tell me the procedure in the, what is the procedure we are trying to follow in the agglomerative method is? Tell me what is the procedure. First we should initialize procedure in what is the procedure you are trying to follow? First you are trying to initialize each object as a cluster. And next what you are trying to do? Next what you are trying to do? You are trying to merge two clusters. See, you are trying to merge two clusters which are similar, right? Based on the distance measures, calculating the distance, you are trying to group the clusters which are similar, and up to which iteration you are doing until all objects are merged into a single cluster. Okay. See, if you have outliers, it will comparatively your hierarchical clustering, nothing but this method will work better. This hierarchical clustering works better than in your k-means when your data has outliers. And this is the step in, or what are the steps? First, each object is considered as a cluster, and we try to merge the clusters based on the similarity, okay, until they are merged into a single cluster. And what is the procedure we try to follow in divisive method? What is the first assumption we take in the divisive method? All of you please respond me in the chat box. What is the first assumption we take? Yes, entire data as a single cluster. All objects we try to, nothing but all object or considered or stay in a single cluster. Yes, yes, thank you for your responses. All objects stay in one cluster. And what is the next part? You should select a cluster and divide to subclusters. This is the divisive method. And what else you have learned? What is dendrogram? What is dendrogram? What is a dendrogram? See, it is actually a tree or a binary tree what it tries to visualize. It try to visualize how clusters are merged or splitted hierarchically, right? Okay. Then, okay, it is a tree-like structure that shows how well or how your clusters have divided, how the clusters are merged or splitted hierarchically. This is what is dendrogram. And see this node. Okay, I will tell you what is node when we try to visualize the dendrogram using sklearn. And what else we have learned? See what is bottom approach, top down approach, what are the linkage methods we have seen, and what is the concept also behind your bottom up approach and top down approach we have observed. Now let us apply one data set and try to select the number of clusters and also try to see the accuracy. Okay, try to observe the accuracy. In some cases, see, in some cases your k-means and hierarchical clustering looks same when you try to visualize. Okay, in some cases. Okay, it is also based on the approach that you are using. If you try to use the division or top down approach, it is somewhat similar to your k-means. But why, if it uses k-means to divide your clusters, in some cases it looks same as your k-means, but the background idea is different. The background calculations are different. And see, we are trying to use the if you try to use the linkage methods, which method will works fine? Which method works fine is in the single linkage. Okay, in the single linkage, let me write here. In the single linkage, it is somewhat sensitive to outliers. If you try to use single linkage, nothing but finding out the distance between your closest point, it is somewhat sensitive to your outliers when compared to your complete linkage and average linkage. Outliers. See, and what is the advantage here is it is sensitive to outliers, but when using the single linkage, you can find irregular, nothing but see, there are different clusters, no? If you try to see irregular shaped clusters, machine learning. I'm not getting app diagram here. See, irregular shapes means, let me draw here. See, if your data is in this way, if your cluster has been divided in this way with the irregular shapes, but actually these are not the shapes. If there are any irregular shapes also, it can try to cluster and give you the results in a better way, your single linkage. Okay, yeah, even though if you have irregular shaped clusters, it works fine with this irregular shaped clusters also, nothing but if the data is divided in that way. And in the complete and average linkage, let us see complete and average linkage. Nothing but your complete and average linkage works better if we have outliers also. Okay, nothing but we can say it works effectively, nothing but it is robust. We can say that term as robust to outliers. Okay, and also see, let's consider this point. See, if there are any, if your data is in this way, in the form of spherical way, if you try to plot your data, if your data is in this way, somewhat in a spherical shape, okay, it works better with this kind of shape data for the spherical data. Okay, it works better, your complete linkage or average linkage. But uh, when compared to the single linkage, for the spherical shaped clusters, this works better, nothing but it tries to works better, or it tries works Okay, it tries to break large clusters also. Tries to break large clusters and preferably what are those spherical clusters. Then how do we choose the value of K from this dendrogram is choosing the optimal, see after approach, nothing but after this approach we are trying to see our dendrogram part, how it is getting clustered, and from that we try to choose the optimal value of K. How do we choose the optimal value of K from the dendrogram? Okay, wait, let me write it in bold. Once observe here, see, you need to choose the vertical lines. You need to choose the vertical lines, vertical largest line. These are the vertical lines, right? These are the vertical lines. You should choose the largest vertical line. For this vertical line, you should not have any horizontal line crossing. Okay. See, if if your data, suppose here you have one cluster. Okay, think that you are having some cluster here. If I try to choose this particular vertical line as my level, my optimal value of K, what, see, there is an horizontal line passing through it. We should not choose this line even though it is large. Okay, even though it is large, if any horizontal line is passing through it, we do not use this vertical line to choose the optimal value of K. Okay, see, if we choose this line, there are no horizontal lines passing through it. Okay, we can choose this as our optimal value of K. Okay, this as optimal value of K. What I am trying to say, choose what we try to choose the largest distance, largest vertical distance. Okay, largest vertical distance. We should not cross the horizontal line, right? Without the line, without crossing. See, you may write in your own words, without crossing any horizontal line. Choose the largest vertical distance, choose the largest vertical distance without crossing any horizontal line. You should not have an horizontal line crossing by it. That is, we have to choose the value of K by using this distance. Now we try to use the linkage method. Okay, we try to use the linkage method. By default, the sklearn uses WORD method. Okay, either you can use WORD method or linkage method, that's our choice. And we try to plot the dendrogram for our data set, and we try to choose the value of K and observe the difference. Okay, I will change it later. When I try to upload in the GitHub, I will change it and upload. Now let us continue with the sklearn part. Now I will also try to tell the importance of normalizing or scaling here. Okay. One student has already asked me about this. What is the difference by doing the scaling, or what is the difference after scaling, and what we need to do? What is the output if we didn't use scaling? That you can observe here. Okay, with this data, I told you to tell, right? One student has asked me this. Now let us use one data set here. There is one data set called malls customer dot csv. Let me see where is the data set present. Wait. Let's see, in the malls customers is one data set. All of you try to copy that one, copy the link and try to upload, try to load it in your notebook. In order to do that, I try to import pandas as pd, and pd dot read underscore csv. Try to paste the link. I think you will ask the link. See, I have posted in the chat box. Try to access. Let me run this. df equal to this is one data set we generally use in order to demonstrate this clustering part. See, we are having the columns of customer ID, gender, age, annual income, and spending score. And your customer ID is not that important, and this gender also is there. We need to label encode it. Either we can use this column, or let us skip for now. If you wish to apply, try to label encode it and wish to apply. Okay, I'm trying to skip now, trying to focus on applying the hierarchical clustering. Okay, is this completed? Have you loaded your data set in your notebook file? Please respond me in the chat box. Okay, let us continue. Try to extract. See, I'm trying to extract the annual income and spending score age columns. Okay, try to use age and annual income. What is my x here is data dot ILOC. I want all the rows. What are the columns I need? I need only 0, 1, 2, 3. 2 and 3. I need only 2, 3 columns. Not data. I have stored it in DF. Okay. If I try to see my X part here, now these are the 2 rows I am trying to take to cluster my data. And see, now let us see. First, let us plot our data. Okay. To plot our data, let me use scatter plot. Plt dot scatter of. In the x, let us take age. Df of age is age. A is capital or small? A is capital. And the df of annual income. Okay, let me give some size as, if I give 50, okay, let me give 60. Yes, I need to import matplotlib. Import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. See, we got the data like this. Now we need to cluster this data. Okay, first let us see, before sending it to the model, how does this take, how does the hierarchy looks? Nothing but how does the dendrogram looks? Let us see. Okay, for that we need to import from the SciPy. The dendrogram is actually present in your SciPy library. Import SciPy dot under cluster and under hierarchy and trying to import as D dendrogram DG. As you may give any name. Okay, and let me give means let us give some figure size to see it clearly, somewhat better. Plt dot figure of some fig size equal to giving some 10,7, and next I want to find out the dendrogram. In order to do that, I have imported this hierarchy as DG, right? DG dot, I want dendrogram. Dendrogram is one method. Dendrogram of, what is the method I am trying to use is, we have the methods called linkage variance centroid, right? I am trying to use the linkage method. DG dot. See, if you want to apply the other methods, try to explore, try to see what are the methods present in this particular DG, and you can find the methods. DG dot linkage. Okay, first we need to give the data set here, nothing but data. I want nothing but my dendrogram for this x values, so that I have given x here, x comma, and okay, let me give x here. Okay, that's it, we have completed. Let us store it in some variable. Dendrogram, no, let me write the whole spelling. Dendrogram. Now let me give some titles, x label, y label. Plt dot title of dendrogram. What is the x label? Plt dot x label. Okay, what is the X label we need to give? It tries to calculate the distance, right? I'm trying to give as input. It's your choice to give any title for your X. PLT dot Y label is the Euclidean distance. See, actually, I think this is not the linkage method. Okay, we try to see. PLT dot show. Somewhere I have given mistake. No module name SkyPy dot cluster dot hierarchy. I written spelling wrong. H-I-E-R, I think. H-I-E-R, hierarchy. See how our dendrogram is looking here. Okay, by using some method, let us use the method called the default method. Method equal to show you method equal to what? Let me use this. I am getting error dendrogram. Okay. Okay, sorry. It is a attribute in linkage. Let me use the word method so that your diagram will get reduced, so that it is good to explain me the how do we choose the value of k. Okay. Now it is good to see, no, this dendrogram. Have you got the output? Please respond. See, also your k value can be chosen depending upon the colors also. Okay, how many colors we are having here? 3 colors, right? You should subtract 1 from the colors. 3 minus 1 is 2. You can also take in that way the colors, based on the colors. The optimal value of k you can also take based on the colors. Actually we are getting blue, green and orange, right? Based on the colors also we can select the optimal value of k. See, what is the vertical distance? This is one vertical line. If I try to choose the value of k here, see, if I try to choose this horizontal line, okay, I am getting this line. Okay, if I want to choose this largest vertical line here, for me it is passing through one horizontal line. It is passing through some horizontal line. You can see here, these two are same vertical lines without any horizontal line passing through it. And there are two lines here. Based on this also you can choose. There are two vertical lines without any horizontal line crossing. And see, this line has the same distance, this line has the same distance, right? And the largest distance we will get for this line only. Okay, we can easily take the value of k as 2, and also based on the colors list also we can choose the value of k here. Now let us consider the value of k here, and k equal to 2, and let us calculate the Sillheiton score. Let us compare. How do we do that? From sklearn dot cluster import agglomerative clustering. And next, what we should apply? Model equal to we should provide the clusters here, n underscore clusters equal to 2, and we should provide the distance. We should also provide the distance on which basis you are trying to work. Nothing but see, first let me show you what are the attributes we have. Help of see, here we have memory, non-affinity, computer linkage. Okay, what is n underscore clusters? Affinity is whether it try to use Euclidean distance or the other distance measures called L1 and L2, or Manhattan distance, or it is a cosine form or pre-computed form. Okay, these are some distance measures we have. Let us use the known one called Euclidean distance. First let us give n underscore, sorry, not here, n underscore clusters equal to, let me give 2, and let me give affinity equal to, what is affinity? I have shown you know what is the distance measure we try to take. I am trying to take Euclidean, which is known to us. And there is also one attribute called linkage. Which linkage we are trying to use? Which linkage? Where is that linkage parameter? See, word, complete, average, single. You may check by giving any method by comparing the Sillheiton score. Okay, you can give any linkage. We have used linkage equal to, let me use word. You may use any linkage. Try to use other linkages and compare the Sillheiton score, Sillheiton score. And now let us fit the values. Okay, model dot fit of x. Now let us predict the data. Model dot predict of x. Doesn't have no attribute called predict. Let me see dir of For every model there is predict, right? Did I write any spelling mistake? No. Yes, we don't have a separate method called predict, fit underscore predict. Okay, let me use fit underscore predict here. Fit underscore predict. Yes, it is predicting some values. We have used only 2 clusters, no, for this data. We have used 2 clusters. Let me see the score here. How do we see the score? First, let me store it in a variable. Predict equal to PRED. Okay. I have stored in the predict, and now let me import the Silhouette score from sklearn dot metrics. Import Silhouette score. HOU underscore score. Okay. Let us pass the data here. Silhouette score of X I have given, and my predicted values are present in. See what is the score I am getting here? 0.41, which is low, right? I'm not getting the good score, okay, for this particular data, for this particular method. Why I'm not getting this? See, if I get some 0. Greater than 0.5, that's okay. That's somewhat it is getting better. If it is of nearer to 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0, somewhat it is learning better. But it is 0.4, and that's not good score, right? Now what you try to do is try to apply k-means for this for this data set by calculating the clusters, nothing but the optimal number of clusters to be used. Okay, think that you have used number of clusters 3. Let me use number of clusters equal to 3. 0, 1, 2. See, if you use 0 clusters 3, your score is getting reduced. If you try to use cluster 4, let me see, somewhat it has increased for cluster 4 than cluster 3, but it is not increasing. It is decreasing, right? Now also try to apply the k-means here for the same data set and tell me the Silhouette score, if you got increased with the score or decreased with the score. Please tell me. Will you do that once? Please respond. Already we have done k-means, right? Decreased. How much you got for k-means? What value of k have you taken and what is the score you got? before 0.4 when under 40.38, and now is 0.3. Not for this, for k means I am asking. Try to apply the same data set for the k means. Try to find out the optimal value of k in k means. Try to apply the k means and tell me the accuracy. So not accuracy, Silhouette score. For k means you got 42. For agglomerative you got 41. How many clusters you have chosen? For k means how many clusters you have chosen? 3. Is it from the elbow method or randomly you have chosen? For k equal to 6 you have chosen. Okay. See, even though for the k means also our score is not increasing. Okay. Now one way of increasing your score is, okay, let me apply k means also. Some students might stop doing it, I think. Let us do that also here. See, how do we apply k means? From sklearn dot cluster k equal to 4, you are getting 0.43, but it is not increased above 0.5 or 0.6, 0.7, right? Let us see, let me also see. From sklearn dot cluster import k means. Okay, let me use one list here, and to range k equal to range of 1 to some, take some 15 value. Let me take some 15 values for I in range of, for I in k. I have already taken range, right? For I in k, what we try to do here? Model equal to, okay, let me copy. Okay, let me write. K means n underscore clusters n underscore clusters equal to I. Let me give some random state. Random underscore state equal to 42. What else we have to do? We have to fit the data model dot fit of x. And next, what we need to calculate? We need to calculate the inertia. L dot append of model dot inertia inertia underscore. And next, what else we need to do? We need to figure out, right? Nothing but we need to draw figure. PLT dot plot of, in X we need to take K values, in Y we need to take L values. Somewhere I have done, module has no PLT, I have imported, Okay, wait. Sorry. PLT dot plot. See, from this, from here to here, there is much difference. It is somewhat low. It has decreased. Okay, you can take either K equal to 4 or K equal to 6. Let me take both and see the accuracy. Okay, let me copy this and also copy this one. Let me take K equal to 6 first, and let me take K equal, clusters equal to 4 also. Model dot fit of X. Now to calculate the Silhouette score, I didn't predicted the values, right? Y underscore predict equal to model dot predict of X. Okay, let me use Silhouette score now. I have used Y underscore predict, right? Y underscore predict is even 0.39. Let me use 4 is 0.43. Okay, but only 1 or 2 points it has been increased. It is not a good score. Even though we are using the other clustering algorithm we have learned, no algorithm is giving me much accuracy. It is not increasing. So what we need to do now, let us see, let us scale our data. Now let us normalize our data first. Okay, what is normalization, what is scaling, already you have learned, I think, in pre-processing, data pre-processing or data analysis. Okay, we try to scale our X data and we try to again pass that data to our model, and let us see if our accuracy has been increased or not. Okay, you can now understand the difference. Why do we need scaling? Okay, since see, why I am applying scaling is, here the age is of some 20, 30, 40, 50 up to some 100 only, right? But your salary is up to your nothing but your annual income is, you have the values for 140, like that, up to 140 you have. Let us scale our data and apply again. Let's see if it is if it is increased or decreased. How do we scale our data? Using some normalizer, let us rescale our data. Scaling the data. Now let us import from sklearn dot pre-processing import normalize. What is the next step? X underscore scale equal to, let us use normalize. X data I have to normalize, right? If I see my scaled data here, see, this is my scaled data. if you try to plot your data here, okay, let us plot our data. Okay, let me take I want all the rows and only the 0 column for X, right? Okay, let me use df. I have already used df. Data equals, wait, scale underscore data equal to pd dot data frame of X underscore scale. Okay, if you try to see your data now, see, now try to plot. Where I have used plotting lines here. Instead of df, try to use data of 0, data of 1. Okay, scale underscore data I have used, scale underscore data and scale underscore data. So it is somewhat ranges from say 0.1 to 1, okay, 1 to 1, same scaling. If you try to observe the values here, you can find 0 to 1 only, you will be having all the values. That is how our data has been scaled. Now what you try to do? Try to apply the scale data to both the k-means and to your hierarchical clustering and see the Silhouette score and tell me the Silhouette score. Try to apply first to our algorithm, what we are currently learning. Okay, X underscore, where is our scaled data? X underscore scale. If I try to see my Silhouette score, let me copy here. Here I have to use only predict and X underscore scale. See, my scale has increased from previously I got 41. Now I got 63. Okay, this is one important point to be noted. Okay, while you have applied with the raw data without any scaling, the model didn't understand well, nothing but didn't clustered your data well. But if you have changed your data, nothing but scaled your data, somewhat it has improved in understanding, in clustering your data. This you can see now the importance of scaling here. Okay, if data is somewhat better and we didn't apply scaling, and we can increase the accuracy by doing this process also. You have seen by improving the accuracy by shuffling the data using random state. You have seen by how do we increase the data? We increase the data by using some good parameters to our model using some, you have applied the methods called grid search CV and randomizer CV, and the scaling also is one method to improve your accuracy. And if you are and the other methods also will use nothing but if you are having higher dimensions of data, you try to reduce your dimensions using dimensionality reduction, which you will be seeing in tomorrow's class. Nothing but you will learn some method, okay, one algorithm to reduce the dimensions. That is also one method. Okay, these are the ways to increase your accuracy. You can also check with your k-means. Yes, we should use scale data while training. It is good to use scale data if your data is not. We didn't use scaling. I have predicted my. See, I have fitted my data using scale data only now. Bhargav. See here I have given x underscore scale only. Before I have given only x here. Unscaled data. We haven't done any for scaling we have done, I think, for some algorithms, but I didn't remember for which algorithm I have used. Generally in clustering it gives more accuracy while you do scaling when compared to classification or regress supervised. For clustering it gives best results for if you do scaling. Since it didn't have any labeled output, no labeled column, right? So it is better to give the proper data for training. Why we declared scale underscore data? To create the this is in the present of x underscore scale is present in the form of array, right? To show it you in the form of data frame, I have used this. This is array. I have converted this array to data frame to show you. Have you understood, Samir? Scale underscore data, actually that is, I have shown you how to convert it into data frame. Now all of you try to plot this data. Try to plot the data. See, my predicted data is present in PRED, right? Try to plot this data. Okay, yesterday we have directly plotted using the data from data frame. Now our data is present in the data frame and also present in the array. Let us use the data from the array and plot. How do we plot that? Let me use the scatter. Plt dot scatter of. Okay, how many clusters we have used here? 2 clusters, right? Okay, let me extract the values here. In order to extract the values, nothing but how many columns I have in the x. How many columns I have in x? Please tell me. How many values I have? Sorry, how many columns I have in x? 2 columns we have. From that, I have 2 outputs, nothing but 2 labels, 2 clusters, 0 and 1. I want the data which is having 0, nothing but which comes under 0 cluster and which comes under 1 cluster. Okay, so that I will compare x of what is my PRED equals to 0. Okay, in the x value, nothing but I need to give 2 values, right? For the first, on the X column, I am giving the age, not X. We have that scaled data in X underscore scale. Yes. See, I am comparing the values which has the prediction value 0, 0 cluster, and only extracting the values from the 0th column. On X, we need to plot X values, nothing but one column values on the X, one column values on the Y, right? The X values are these. Okay, if you do that, I get only these values on my X. Let me store it in X1 so that we will not confuse. Let me take Y1. What are Y1 here? X underscore scale PRED equal to, okay, for first column also I need to take 0, 1. Okay, and next, see, in the first, you have two columns of data. In the first column, for the first column data, you will be having 0 cluster values and the first cluster values, right? Okay, let me give one here. No. For the first, see, this is the first column values which has the output 0. Sorry, the 0th column values which has the output 0. The first column values which have value, which has the predicted value 0. Have you understood this part? Please tell me. See, if you try to observe X underscore scale, this is one column of data. My screen is struck. I think it is displaying, no? It is displaying. Students, please tell me if my screen is struck or it is fine. Okay, once Bhargav, once check your internet connection. From my side, it is okay. What I am trying to teach here. See, you are having two set of values. See, you are having one column of data, other column of data. Okay, and from this particular data, there are mix of zeros and ones data, right? ఈ పర్టికులర్ డేటాలో మీకు జీరోగా డివైడ్ అయిన క్లస్టర్ వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి, 1 కింద క్లస్టర్ అయిన వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి, ఓన్లీ 0th కాలం అంటే నథింగ్ బట్ ఏజ్ కాలం. ఓకే, అలాగే మీకు ఇన్కమ్ వాల్యూ, సారీ, ఇన్కమ్ యాన్యువల్ ఇన్కమ్ వాల్యూస్ లో కూడా అండర్ 0 క్లస్టర్ గా డివైడ్ అయినవి ఉన్నాయి, 1 క్లస్టర్ గా డివైడ్ అయ్యి ఉన్నాయి. నేను ఇప్పుడు ఓన్లీ ఏజ్ కాలం లో ఉన్న డేటా మాత్రమే తీసుకున్నాను, అండర్ 0 క్లస్టర్ అండ్ 1 క్లస్టర్. ఏజ్ కాలం ఈస్ నెంబర్ ఈస్ 0, సారీ, ఏజ్ కాలం నెంబర్ ఈస్ 0 here, and age column is 0, annual income column is 1. From these two columns I am trying to take only the values which are under the cluster 0, which are under the cluster 0. Okay, have you understood? See, once again I am repeating now without any confusion. This 0 is for the age column, for this call data. The 1 is for this data, and we are extracting only the values which are under cluster 0. I think now you got the point. Somebody is asking one question. X underscore, you may take from the array or you may take from the data frame. Yesterday we have taken from the data frame, no? You have taken the data from the data frame and you try to plot the data. Yesterday we have tried with that only. So that I am trying to, today I am trying to take from the array, so that you will be comfortable by taking the data from the array and from the data frame. Next, let us take the other values. X2 equal to x underscore scale of PRED. Now I am nothing but I am extracting the values which are under cluster 1 under 0 column, under edge column. And okay, I am telling in the form of columns. That is why you are trying to confuse. To make you understand better, I am using the column word, though I am using the array. Okay. Predict equal to 1, 1. It is y2. Now let us plot the data. PLT dot scatter of x1 comma y1. Okay, let us give some size as 60 and the label. Let me give the label cluster 0. And let me plot the other one also. PLT dot scatter of x2 comma y2 comma s equal to 60, label equal to cluster 1. Let us see the output. PLT dot show. This is we have plotted with the scaled data, right? Let us plot with the normal data. But our normal data is present in sorry. Our normal data is present in which variable? Please tell me. We have used scaled data. Our normal data is present in X. Okay. To divide that, I am trying to explain with the array data, right? Try to convert that into array. How do we convert? X equal to x dot values. Now we try to use X here. We have the method called values, no? X dot values, X dot columns we have. Why I am getting error here? What is the mistake I have done? Okay, wait. Somewhere I have done the mistake. Where is my original data frame present? In the DF, right? Somewhere I have used X, X1. Let me. This is my data frame. I want to extract only these columns. This comes with the data frame. If I want to present it in the form of array, x dot values. See, I got x dot values. And I am again trying to store it in x only here. Okay, now if I try to see my x is present in this way. Okay, now let me run this. Okay. See, let me use legend here. PLT dot legend. See how my data has been clustered in this way. This is how we can see. See, since we have plotted with the scaled data, all are in the same scale, right? We can't see it properly. So I have used again the original data from our data set. And this is how you try to extract the data from your array and try to plot your clustered data. Try to note it down. That's it with today's class. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. And we will continue with the other algorithm called PCA tomorrow.